Good afternoon. My name is Anjali Vaidya from Section A, and I'm here to introduce John Coleman. John Coleman was selected by his MBA classmates after a particularly arduous process. We narrowed the field from 30 initial candidates to a group of 8 finalists to finally just John. Having served as one of his judges, one of 10, I can say with complete certainty that John is a terrific storyteller. He won us over with his combination of sincerity and optimism, and maybe we should have expected it. John brings to the stage today a wealth of communication experience. In 2004, he was named a United States National College Speech Champion, and last year became a published author with a book on how to communicate effectively. So he literally wrote the book. But being a celebrated orator is just one of John's many accomplishments. After working in government in Washington, D.C., as well as management consulting in Atlanta, John served in the HBS community as a student in both the business school and the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. At HBS, he was a student association senator, and he helped run the Business, Industry, and Government Club, as well as the Community Impact Fund. He's currently working on his second book with 2 HBS classmates of his called Reimagining Leadership. Finally, John earned what I'll call the dubious honor of winning the BS competition at HBS. Although I'm not too sure, given this economic climate, he should brag about that one. With a resume like that, John, we all have high expectations of you. These next 10 minutes better be legendary. No pressure or anything. My reputation is as much at stake as yours. Ladies and gentlemen, John Coleman.
Well, Dean Light, Sir Ronald Cohen, faculty, administration, classmates, family, and friends, thank you for the privilege of speaking with you today. Thank you, Anjali, for that introduction, though I would like to clarify one thing. The BS in the BS competition stands for business speaking. I don't know what you were thinking, which seems altogether proper to me, so I'll let you draw your own conclusions. I'd also like to say something that may have never been said in Boston, Massachusetts ever before, which is thank you for braving the heat to get out here. I know it's a difficult day for that. It's a special day, not the least of which because for many of us graduates, this is the closest we've ever come to Baker Library. It's special for us in particular because I don't know about everyone else, but I feel a little bit like Moses parting the Crimson Sea as everybody sits off to the sides. To those in the audience and on the stage who have spent the past 2 years teaching us, thank you for your dedication, preparation, and attention. To those in the administration and on the Class Day Committee, thank you for your tireless behind-the-scenes work. To those in the Student Loan Office, let's just say I owe you so much. And for those graduates now playing section bingo, David Hasselhoff. Of course, our deepest gratitude today is to the family, friends, and especially partners who have carried us this far. I don't know how your family is handling it, but mine are pretty pumped. They've walked around the past couple of days with their Harvard Mom and Harvard Dad t-shirts for maybe the 500th time. And my wife, currently the sole breadwinner in our family, is just relieved that I'm finally getting a job. From up here, I can see that all of you have brought a collection of ecstatic friends, beaming grandparents, and bored little brothers. Well, from all of us in the class of 2010 to all of you, thank you. You've helped make what once seemed like an unreasonable hope a reality. We never could have done it without you, and I know at least that I wouldn't have been here without a lot of help, encouragement, and inspiration from the people who care about me the most. You see, like many of you, I didn't grow up with Harvard as an expectation. When I was born, my family lived in a trailer park in Central Florida. My dad, a former rodeo cowboy, who's in the front row there, was scraping by finishing an undergraduate degree, and my mom made it her job to find ways for me to learn and develop using the limited resources that we had. This involved a lot of imagination. She read books to me almost every night, the Berenstain Bears, the Pokey Little Puppy, until I had memorized them and made their words my own. We turned little red wagons into race cars, can recycling into treasure hunting, and firefly catching into dragon chasing. And I'm lost. But by day, perhaps that was the greatest gift my mother gave me, that fantastic capacity, the gift of creativity. By day, I was just a little boy trying hard in school. But at night, in between wakefulness and my dreams, I was an astronaut, archaeologist, or to my parents' great dismay, a rock star. Every obstacle was an opportunity, and every struggle a chance to create. I'm willing to bet that you had similar dreams too, didn't you? And are some of the very people who first taught you to dream now sitting with you today? Of course, a lot of time has passed since any of us rode in little red wagons, and it's been years, hours at least, since we wanted to be rock stars. These days, most of us just dream of landing jobs, avoiding cold calls, and finding an extra ticket to commencement in Harvard Yard. But as we cross the stage tomorrow and step out into the world beyond this school, what if it's more important than ever to recapture that childlike spirit of imagination? What if in a world so vastly transformed by crisis that it barely resembles the one we left in 2008, what matters most is not our accounting acumen or Excel proficiency, but a passion and a capacity for creativity? Famed economist Joseph Schumpeter once called capitalism creative destruction, a formulation that almost perfectly captured both the danger and the dynamism inherent in the economic system we've adopted almost everywhere in the world. The latter half of Schumpeter's phrase is now almost self-evident. Our 2 years here have been a season of destruction. 100-year-old institutions have fallen like dominoes, and markets have plummeted, endangering pensions, college funds, and retirement plans around the world. We've witnessed masters of the universe in business and politics who have exercised more creativity in evading the law, amassing power, and harming their fellow human beings than in conceiving of solutions to make the world a better place. And millions of people have lost their homes, their jobs, and their hope. MBAs like us have been keenly sensitive to this crisis because we've borne at least some share of the blame. But as we graduate tomorrow, the primary question for our class, for our generation, is not what happened, but where do we go from here? In this time of crisis, when passion, innovation, and leadership are so desperately needed, how can we help restore balance to the system? And in a world that is stumbling, can we be creative in the midst of destruction? I believe the answer to that question is a resounding yes. If my 3 years at this institution have taught me anything, it is that HBS, despite its flaws, really is dedicated to educating leaders who make a difference in the world. And my classmates and I, despite our own flaws, overeager pit dives and skydeck moments, share that dedication. We have a long way to go. We've got a lot to learn. And we must keep with us the humility that we've learned in this crisis. But if we can harness 2 essential components of creativity, imagination and dedication, I believe that we can become a part of the solution to our world's problems rather than their perpetuation. The first element of creativity, of course, is imagination. That ability to think of the world in unbounded terms and produce new things where nothing existed before. This was easy when we were kids, right? If somebody had asked you about career paths, we might have had a tough time choosing between president and Spider-Man. But we always set the bar high. As we mature, sometimes reality encourages us to think in slightly smaller increments. But HBS has consistently impressed on us through classwork in leadership and innovation, exercises in personal reflection, and the challenging advice of alumni and friends to be imaginative with both our careers and our solutions to the challenges we face. One great evidence of this is the MBA Portrait Project, which you can find scattered throughout Spangler Lounge today. For it, MBA students echoing poet Mary Oliver were asked what they intend to do with their one wild and precious life. And the responses, whether to be great parents and innovative social entrepreneurs or world-class karaokeers, are both imaginative and hopeful. Reflection and innovation are further encouraged through cultural activities like the HBS Show and Sankofa. And this push for imagination often culminates in the various business plan competitions around campus. Activities that in recent years have produced companies and social enterprises dedicated to everything from recycling unwanted electronics to treating Lou Gehrig's disease, democratizing fashion, and combating illness and drought. No, I don't think imagination will be the problem. particularly if we classmates can find ways to encourage one another's dreams and aspirations long after this experience has passed away. But in order to transform imagination into creativity, we must couple it with dedication, devotional persistence in the face of time, challenge, and struggle. Our New England neighbor, Ralph Waldo Emerson, highlighted the necessity of dedication when he said, "Without ambition, one starts nothing. Without work, one finishes nothing. The prize will not be sent to you. You have to win it." Well, my friends here are nothing if not dedicated. This is readily apparent to anyone who's ever watched an HBS rugby match or a Section Olympics tug of war, but it's also more subtly demonstrated by students' dedication to lasting impact and the school's dedication to facilitating long-term thinking. I'm proud to say that I've seen my peers here help out on the ground in almost every major crisis in recent years. Katrina, the Chinese earthquakes of 2 years ago, and most recently Haiti, where a first and second year HBS student have been essential to pioneering the development of electronic medical records, and more than a dozen students have traveled in the past 2 weeks alone. Dedicated to long-term social impact, HBS students have set up the Harbus Foundation, the nation's only foundation run by MBA students. And in classes like leadership and corporate accountability, we are taught persistently to think beyond quarterly returns. Tenacity is almost second nature to many among us, but it will be essential to addressing the long-term challenges we'll face, and it's a place where our family, friends, and former professors, all of you, can help us most. Encouraging us, supporting us in difficult times, offering us a little wisdom when we need it, and holding us accountable for the promises we make. In a way, I think it's simple. Imagination and dedication, creativity and destruction. Depending on your perspective, fellow graduates, we're either blessed or cursed to leave this place in the midst of interesting and urgent times. But despite the very real pain and difficulty of the current environment, it is an opportunity. Up until this point, we've lived in a world built and cared for by our parents, grandparents, and forebears. But tomorrow, for those of us in caps and gowns, things change. Our generation is tasked with creating something new and undreamt from the remains of this crisis. And I believe that history's perspective on us will rest on our ability to fight through the destruction and recapture that childlike sense of creativity that once allowed us to chase dragons and cherish red wagons and believe that no matter where we came from, we could one day make it to a place like this. Thank you once again for the honor of addressing you, class of 2010. Many of you are lifelong friends, and over the past 3 years, you've taught me about character, community, leadership, and compassion. Leave this campus tomorrow as creators, and remember to take the time to dream. We may not end up rock stars, but it never hurts to have a little imagination. Thank you.